Well, potentially. As I said, it depends on what records the royal household keep. I mean, I suggest if there were any records, they're not going to be about now. Metropolitan Police, for police records, pretty sure it's between 6 and 8 years they keep them, so any potential evidence within notebooks, Protection Office would have been destroyed. So the only paper trail I could see potentially is personal assistant at the time, who would have had diaries of his movements on each day. Would he or she have kept them for so long? Maybe. I don't know.
They thought the royal secrets were buried forever, but a sudden move by King Charles just blew the doors wide open. His brother's former private secretary just agreed to talk to the police about everything she saw behind closed doors, the Epstein links, the secret flights, the cash payments. But then, just days later, the king calls her to Windsor Castle and awards her one of the highest royal honours in existence. Is this a reward for a lifetime of service, or is it the ultimate golden muzzle to keep a massive scandal quiet? This is what we'll uncover in this video, including Andrew's secrets. But before that, I'd really appreciate it if you could give the video a like, as this research takes a lot of time and effort. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell.
If he does go to trial, and if the CPS does decide that they've got enough evidence to prosecute, this could be a lifetime sentence. You know, absolutely unheard of. Which is the most extraordinary story I think I've ever come across.
Really, the whole history of the monarchy, more extraordinary than Fergie with the toes.
Yes, absolutely.
She was a decorated naval officer who traded the open ocean for the dark corridors of royal power. Dame Charlotte Manley spent years working as the right-hand woman to the disgraced former prince Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. As his private secretary and treasurer from 2001 to 2003, she wasn't just another staff member, she was the gatekeeper. She managed his global travel, arranged his meetings, and held the checkbook for the most scrutinized office in the world. If anyone knows what really went on behind closed doors during the height of the Jeffrey Epstein era, it is her. But for over 20 years, she remained intensely quiet, operating in the shadows of the palace. Until now. In a move that sent shockwaves through the royal family, she officially agreed to sit down with the police and answer questions about her former boss. She told reporters that she would rather talk to the authorities than the press, but it was her follow-up sentence that really made people's jaws drop. She added, "Not that I will have much to tell them." Is she truly in the dark, or is she playing a high-stakes game of poker with the authorities? Because the timing of her cooperation could not be worse for the disgraced former prince. Police are already aggressively investigating his time as a UK trade envoy, pulling on threads that lead directly back to his billionaire offender friend. And then there are the financial receipts. Investigators are reportedly looking at a paper trail of travel logs and checks signed by his office during that exact window of time. In fact, a past report resurfaced involving a check signed on a Buckingham Palace account for a masseuse reportedly arranged by Ghislaine Maxwell. It proves one undeniable fact. Dame Charlotte has the receipts. She knows who came in, who went out, and exactly who paid for it. The palace was already in a state of sheer panic over what she might reveal, but just days after she agreed to cooperate, King Charles did something so unexpected it left royal watchers completely stunned. The timing could not have been more suspicious. Just weeks after the former prince's right-hand woman agreed to sit down with law enforcement, King Charles did something that left royal watchers pulling their jaws off the floor. On a quiet Tuesday morning at Windsor Castle, the king personally stepped forward to award Dame Charlotte Manley with the Royal Victorian Order. This isn't just some standard certificate or a polite pat on the back. This is a damehood, the second highest rank in the order, granting her the prestigious, exclusive right to be called Dame. Now, on paper, this was a recognition of her long and dedicated career. After leaving the former prince's office in 2003, she had spent over 20 years working as a highly respected clerk at St. George's Chapel. But public reaction was swift, and the speculation was immediate. Why now? Why, out of all the moments in her multi-decade career, did this massive honor land right as active police investigators were knocking on her door? The internet went into an absolute frenzy. Commenters and royal observers couldn't help but ask the burning question: was this a genuine reward for a lifetime of loyal service, or was it a tactical move by the palace to remind her exactly who signs the checks? In the high-stakes game of royal scandals, loyalty is everything, and nothing ensures silence quite like elevating someone into the highest tiers of the aristocracy. But here is where the plot thickens even further. The Royal Victorian Order is a very specific, very unique honour. Unlike most awards that are decided by a committee of government officials, this specific order is given entirely at the sole personal discretion of the reigning monarch. That means King Charles didn't have to give this to her. He didn't have to choose this exact moment to pull her into the spotlight at Windsor Castle. It was his personal call. So, did the king orchestrate this event to send a silent message to his brother's former staffer, or is the palace genuinely attempting to let the legal process play out, completely unbothered by what she might say? Whichever the case, the former prince was spotted smiling over the weekend as he inspected his horses in Sandringham. He certainly acts like a man who feels entirely protected. But his comfort might be incredibly short-lived, because the actual investigation the police are conducting behind closed doors goes far deeper than a simple missing checkbook.
When I told you about the Privy Purse office rings down and gives us all the appointments for that day and we write them in the appointment book, on this particular occasion, my colleague, a police officer in the Privy Purse department, he gave me the list of fixtures for the day, and then he said, there's a guest coming at lunchtime, 1 o'clock, for Prince Andrew, but don't put her name in the book. So I said, okay, why? He said, it's Ghislaine Maxwell. So I said, fair enough. I didn't really pay much attention to it then. I said, fine, if that's how it is, that's how it is. So
the walls are officially closing in. What started as a massive reputational nightmare has now escalated into a full-blown, active criminal investigation. The police are no longer just asking questions. They are following a trail of highly sensitive, classified data. At the center of this storm are explosive claims that the former prince used his powerful position as the UK's special trade envoy to benefit his billionaire offender friend, Jeffrey Epstein. According to leaked reports and newly surfaced emails, the former prince allegedly forwarded highly sensitive visit reports and official itineraries to Epstein, documents detailing high-level trade missions to places like Vietnam, Singapore, and Hong Kong. This isn't just a bad look. In the eyes of the law, this crosses a massive line. Authorities are actively assessing whether these actions amount to a serious breach of official secrets and gross misconduct in public office. This is exactly why investigators are suddenly so interested in his former staff, like Dame Charlotte Manley. As his treasurer, she handled the administrative operations during his most active years as trade envoy. She was the one processing the travel logs, the expenses, and the official movements. And then there are the financial receipts that are making investigators look twice, like a resurfaced detail of a check drawn on a Buckingham Palace account to pay a South African masseuse. an encounter that was reportedly arranged by none other than Ghislaine Maxwell. Every single breadcrumb seems to lead right back to the same dark network. The public is demanding real, transparent answers. People want to know if a member of the elite circle knowingly shared state secrets with one of the most notorious offenders in modern history. But as the pressure mounts and the police dig deeper, a massive question mark still hangs over the legacy of the monarchy itself, because many are asking how all of this could have happened right under the roof of the palace. Did the late Queen truly have no idea what was going on, or was there a calculated effort to look the other way?
People need to understand it. I keep getting asked, would they have told the Queen? The Queen knows everything. The Queen knows everything. I remember once, right, this is how on it the Queen is, right? Someone damaged there's a crest on the front of the gates at Buckingham Palace. Them big crest.
Yeah.
Well, a lorry came in and it damaged it, and it ripped half of it. It's sort of hanging off a bit. She was informed straight away. 5 minutes later, she's coming down. She's come down to inspect the damage on her gate, right? That's how on it this woman is. And that's just a gate. So what do you think she's going to be like with her own family?
She protected him until the very end. Despite a mountain of evidence, public outrage, and the desperate warnings of her own staff, the late Queen Elizabeth II refused to believe the worst about her son. For years, she acted as his ultimate human shield against the legal storms closing in on the palace. It is no secret that he was widely considered her favourite son, and that blind maternal devotion may have created one of the biggest blind spots in royal history. Staff members at the palace have repeatedly claimed that the late monarch simply tuned out the noise. When staff tried to warn her about his arrogant behaviour or the highly questionable guests entering his quarters, she reportedly brushed it off. To her, he was just her boy. But it wasn't just a quiet family matter. Her protective nature actively steered the course of history. When the now infamous Newsnight interview aired, the world watched in absolute mockery at the bizarre excuses. The inability to sweat, the alibi at a suburban pizza express. Most people saw a man caught in a web of his own making, but inside the palace, the Queen's view remained stubbornly unchanged. Even after the disastrous fallout forced him to step back from public life, she still chose him to walk by her side as her official escort at Prince Philip's memorial service in 2022. It was a visual message to the world: he is still with me. But that unwavering support came at a heavy cost. Biographers and close insiders reveal that his legal troubles caused the late Queen immense, crushing stress in the final years of her life. She was deeply worried about what would happen to him when she was no longer there to protect him, and it turns out her fears were entirely justified. Now that the late Queen's protection is gone, the safety net has completely vanished. The iron shield of the palace has been replaced by the cold, hard reality of an active criminal investigation. So, what happens when the favourite son runs out of places to hide? The clock is officially ticking. What we are witnessing is something entirely unprecedented in the history of the modern monarchy. The wall of silence that once protected the former prince has completely crumbled, replaced by an active criminal investigation and intense public scrutiny. With his former right-hand woman now agreeing to sit down with the police, the Crown's carefully kept secrets are dangling by a thread. The awarding of a prestigious damehood might have been a routine recognition of decades of service, or it might have been a calculated move to keep the peace. But one thing is absolutely certain: the public is done waiting for answers. People want to know exactly what was in those leaked emails. They want to know how state secrets allegedly ended up in the hands of a billionaire offender. And most importantly, they want to see if the legal system applies equally to everyone, regardless of their bloodline. The iron shield of the late Queen is no longer there, and as the police dig deeper into the money trails and flight logs, the palace is quickly running out of options. Will the truth finally come to light, or will the institution find a way to close ranks and bury the scandal once and for all? Only time will tell. If you want to stay on top of this rapidly developing investigation and uncover the truths the mainstream media won't touch, make sure to click that subscribe button. We are following this story every step of the way, and you won't want to miss our next deep dive. Let us know in the comments below. Do you think the investigation will lead to actual charges, or is the palace still pulling the strings behind the scenes? Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.